What a beautiful Friday today is. It is May 16th, and I can't wait to drop my first video for Ladder League predictions slash recaps again. I'm back. Anonymous is already back. He already dropped his video. I'm back as well. I was busy all this week with a bunch of finals week stuff, so this is a gonna be a quick, just off the top of the head run through of everything. I did already fill out my weekly predictions form, which I will go through that briefly, but I kind of wanted to take an approach on this video to go through each of the runners, kind of what I thought of each of the runners going in, how I think they'll do. I'll fill out my top 8 seed form, and then I want to present a few new ways that I'm going to change up the recaps this year, which, by the way, I guess I might as well start with that. And I think so besides like, okay, maybe figuring out a new segment, that was my one idea, but also I want to bring on a guest. Maybe it's every other week, maybe it's every week. But I want to bring on a guest, maybe probably someone who's in Ladder League, maybe we'll get someone who's not. But someone to get their opinions out as well as myself, so you don't have to hear me yap for who knows how long this is going to be. I want to keep this one brief. The match is soon, and I don't want this to take too long to upload before the match and whatnot. All right, but anyways, let me jump right in. First of all, we are just back with Ladder League Season 2. Very, very exciting stuff. I think this year is a cool mix of faces who played last year and new faces. Just judging off like the bat, we do have a smaller rung, or a smaller ladder this year. These we're going to have 6 weeks, 7 qualifiers plus the wild card. Still the same playoff, but slightly less matches. So looking immediately, right, we have the play-ins, a 4-way race to get into the last spot in the 3-way race, and then you have the main bracket. I can briefly go over the new additions, just very briefly. I'm gonna assume you guys have watched the video about explaining these new things. So there's the leapfrog system, right? So for example, if I'm in this race, Flup, Coolest, and Revy, and I'm Flup and I get a 220, pop off, get a 220. And Laser gets a 219, he wins his race. Dragon gets a 225 and gets second, and Daime gets a 226 and gets third. So in that situation, now Flup would be able to leapfrog Dragon, who got second, and take his spot in what would have been a promotion to Rung 2. So let's just say Justin lost the race, so it'd be Justin, Laser, and Flup instead of Justin, Laser, and Dragon, because Flup was able to leapfrog Dragon. So we obviously have that leapfrog feature, which helps, by the way, get anyone out of the final rung that may be stuck there. So like if Anonymous happened to beat the second to last time, or second best time in the 6th rung, like let's just say it's Charizite, then he actually has a way of getting out of the bottom rung instead of having to win each and every week. And then our final thing was the wild card, which I may have already touched on, but that's just going to be the best time out of everyone who does not qualify in these 7 opportunities. So I think a wild card will actually go to one of the runners in the top 8 currently, but I'm not going to go on that tangent yet. I'll do that when I do my top 8 prediction form. First and foremost, I'm gonna go through who I think is gonna win each. Who am I think is gonna win each race? Slash, I'm also gonna go over the player profiles as I do that. Just my general opinion on everyone. Okay, so starting off, play-in match literally starting in 2 hours from now, less than that. We have Benny Moon, Appleman, Chroma Q, and Gamer Olive. And if you asked me if any of these guys were runners as of like 3 weeks ago, I would say, yeah, Appleman. I did not know. I mean, a lot of them are newer. That makes sense. So I'm not completely caught up on their game, but I do keep an eye on the PB Post channel, and I have like kind of a mental note of, the frequency of these PBs, the size of these PBs. So I think Benny Moon still has his 249.56, which in this case, considering the PB difference all the way to Gamer Olive's now a 7-minute PB gap, that is already going to be really hard for Benny Moon to win this race. Of course, I'd love to see him make some noise, I think especially since like I think Chroma has a 246, Apple now has a 244, Gamer Olive now has a 220, 222, no 242. Uh, they all have these very strong times. So Benny Moon is in a tough situation. However, I hope he's able to make some noise. Like I'm hoping he can stay close, but I definitely don't expect him to win this race. I would be even surprised if he got second. Third or fourth is probably the expected outcome there. Then there's Appleman, who is interesting for me because he hadn't played at all until a few days ago, and the general consensus in the predictions was Appleman was going to be the last person, or the least likely person to win this race because he hasn't been playing, and his PB is not as good as two of the other racers. But he just came out of nowhere and got like a 4 minute PB, 2 minutes off of Gamer Olive's PB now, so he could be in the flow state. I'm excited. I didn't pick him because I already have chosen this match, and I chose this before he got this PB. I would definitely have reconsidered, considering his point value. But Appleman, another good racer, and I think I don't think he's gonna win this one either. However, he definitely has a chance. Chroma Q as well. They still have the 246. Yes, 246, and I would be a little surprised if they uh, pulled out a win in this one as well. I think there's a pretty clear favorite just based on gaps. Uh, in my prediction as well, I went with Gamer Olive. So Chroma Q is another new runner that I haven't really taken the time to watch the runs and whatnot. I've just seen the PB posts, so I'm going off of that. The progress is pretty normal. I would say there's definitely a chance, but I definitely have Gamer Olive winning this match. I see the progress has been daily. They're running a lot. That's what I'm kind of looking for in rung one in particular, if they're running a lot lately. Someone isn't running a lot right now, who I'll get to. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with Gamer Olive on this one, and I mean, if I had to pick the whole race, I would go Gamer Olive first, Appleman second, Chroma third, Benny Moon fourth is just the prediction off the top of my head. And that would mean Gamer Olive would survive into the second player playing match, which I'll go it over in theory as if Gamer Olive won. Yahoodles, Nolan, Gamer Olive, and now Gamer Olive actually has better PBs than Yahoodles and Nolan. And Nolan hasn't been running, I don't think. And Yahoodles has done a few, I'll put it in the kindest way, attempts. We don't want to talk about that Falcon flight, obviously, but it's not bad. I would say that Gamer Olive is the favorite here. However, I could see either one of these guys, Nolan or Yahoodles, taking the win as well. Just because their PPs are close. If they play a little bit more before that match, it could go either way. But Gamer Olive with the hot hand, I think wins this match too, and makes it into the 21 seeds. My prediction. Obviously Nolan and Yahoodles, both from last year's ladder league, both with early exits. They haven't really played much since then, so I'm gonna have to unfortunately let them go early here. It would be interesting to see this be a close race though between all three, which could happen. Anyways, moving on, I'll start with. Do I go top down or bottom up here? Let's go bottom up. So we have Anonymous, Bixel, and the winner of the play-in, which in this case I have is Gamer Olive. And I think Gamer Olive also has the best chance of making noise in this race as well. Let's see. So I think the clear favorite here is Anonymous. Anonymous has done a run recently, has PB by a couple of minutes. Gamer Olive has been PBing a lot, is getting closer, so I would definitely not count Gamer Olive out if they were in this situation. Bixel has not played, like, at least to my knowledge, at all. So I would probably have to go Anonymous in this match just because he helped me set up the predictions and I'm super biased. But my actual reason would be because, I think he is a strong enough runner where he has a lot of time to be saved beyond his current PB. I think his current PB is just like a one-off run that he did with a bunch of the new stuff. So he can definitely PB by a lot more. Um, and I mean, Gamer Olive, this could be stolen by Gamer Olive, but I don't think so. And then Bixel, it's hard for me to pick Bixel here, especially with the big question mark of what he's been doing. Anyways, I'll keep it moving because I'm already realizing this is going to be a long video. Um, we have Zoda, Charizite, and Quasar, which this is an interesting race because all these guys' PBs are so close together. However, how much they've been playing has been a lot different because Charizite, to my knowledge, hasn't played at all. Quasar has been running and has been improving extremely fast. Shout out LB1 Free Play for helping him out because anyone who runs that category is automatically faster. And Zoda, who is in another category, he's doing blindfolded stuff. So, I mean, he is doing some any percent, he is, but some blindfolded, which is a little bit different. My pick in this race initially was Quasar, just because of the fast improvements he's been doing. He's going to be on the best form going in. However, it's definitely been proved in the past, especially as a week 1 match, that you could be in the best form, but it won't matter if you have one bad race or mess up God Fraud. Which, by the way, I think I'm at the point where I don't think we'll see God Fraud up until maybe rung 2 or 3, at least not for now. So I'm not going to discuss that yet. So I think Quasar wins this race, and then now second and third actually become relevant again, especially because Elite Frog. I'm probably gonna take. It's tough. I think Charizard's such a good runner, but he hasn't been running. I'm gonna go with Mr. Zenzoda as second place here. But I'm actually gonna go with a bit of a surprise here. I'm gonna go with the Leapfrog. I'm gonna say Anonymous gets a good enough time to leapfrog Zoda. I'm gonna call it a leapfrog prediction right away. First opportunity. So Quasar wins. Anonymous leapfrogs. Zoda stays in the rung, and Charizite goes down. Which actually, let me do the. That would mean Zoda, Charizite, Well, sorry, not T-Fresh. He's just the. I'm not predicting T-Fresh to get last in that race, by the way. Yeah, I haven't gotten through there yet. It would be, in theory, Zoda, Charizite, and the loser of Twice Light Fan of T-Fresh. I did not mean to say T-Fresh's name as the loser of that race. I can guarantee you that. Well, I shouldn't say that. But anyways, that is my prediction for rung 6. I'm mixing up with last year. I'm calling probably like rung 8 and rung 7, but it's rung 7, rung 6 now. And for rung 5, this is going to be a fun one. We got Twice Light, who has been on and off playing, to my knowledge, has gotten a decent PB, and I think has a good chance here of winning this race. I think they are probably the favorite to win this race. You have Phantom, who's been running a little bit, but probably a little out of form, and then T-Fresh, who is the big question mark in this race, because he hasn't run in a long time, so he's got tons and tons of skips to implement, but his PB is pretty bad, and he hasn't done any runs yet, but I know he was telling me he's going to grind. I'm actually going to be doing a little race with him soon, so I think I'm going to go with the safe pick and pick Twice Light here, who's been the guy who's been playing it the most as of late, and I think Twice Light has a really big potential to do good stuff in this tournament as well. So I'm going to go Twice Light to win. I'm probably going to go T-Fresh for second here. This is all based on if T-Fresh does runs this weekend. But he seemed pretty committed to, so I think T-Fresh could not only... He could have a better PB by Twice Light, or than Twice Light, and win the race. I think there's a very real chance of that as well. So I'm not going to go with any leapfrogs from Quasar here. And then that moves us up to the next rung. So I'm like kind of like brushing past the player profiles because this is going to be a very long video because I also have to do the top 8 predictions. Also, if you couldn't tell, maybe my eyes show it. I have been up for an ungodly amount of time straight right now because I stayed up all night studying for a final that I had this morning. And I haven't slept. It is Friday at 6:43 p.m. I have not slept since Thursday night. Wednesday night / Thursday morning. It's been a while. Anyways, Moving on. Rung 4, Flup, Coolest, and Revelo. To start off, I just want to say, Flup, she's gonna win this rung for sure. I don't I don't think. See, the thing is, Revi's been playing a little bit more recently, but I think Flup, she just is so much further ahead in terms of like at this moment skill compared to Coulson and Revi. I think obviously if this race happened further down the line, we could definitely have a change. But I don't see a way, like, especially Flup is experienced in the tournaments already. Revi played last year, actually did pretty well, but Coulson, it's his first year. We don't know how he's gonna race. Um, Obviously Coulson, I think, is gonna be here to stay for a while. I think at least he'll make week 6. So I think we will see more from him later to see how he improves. But I think for week 1, it's a pretty safe pick to pick Flup to win this race. And I'm gonna go with Revi to get second. I'm just going off of, first race jitters here for Coulson on the big stage. Um, it's not really a slight to him or anything. I still think that he'll be competitive, especially down the line. But as for week 1, I think he gets demoted here. In terms of leapfrog, I don't think that a leapfrog will happen from Flup here. And ooh, there is an interesting opportunity to leapfrog. I'm gonna go with a twice late leapfrog here, is my prediction over Revi. I think that both their PBs, like actually twice late, their PBs are 2 second difference, and it's just like I think both of them could get a good time, but they will probably get a similar time. And if I think Revi's getting second, twice late's winning, might as well take advantage and give it a leapfrog. And that moves us to rung 3 now. Laser, Dragon, Daime. Dragon's another person who I have not seen, well, no one's seen on the big stage in a big race on LEGO Speedruns, so I'm not sure how that is going to go. However, he just got a nice chunky PB. He's now a mid to low 223, I believe, which would actually jump him into the next rung up if he had gotten that before the signups closed. So I think the favorite here is Dragon. However, I think the winner of this match is going to be Laser. I still think it's going to be an experience thing. And I think Laser also has a lot of potential to be really good at this game. So, not saying that the other people in this run don't. I just think that Laser, I just think he's going to win this week. He's got the experience already by missing pod fraud every week last year. So now it's God fraud. So at least, he'll miss a different trick in pod race this time. But I think Laser will take this one. That's kind of a risky pick, I think, because Dragon's pretty heavy favorite now. And then Daime, I just think he got placed in a tough spot where he's placing 2 guys who are just a bit too much for him right now. Daime's hopes at top 8 are definitely going to come in those later weeks, so eventually he would have to build up to beat a guy like Laser or Dragon or Anorak or Harasmi or myself later down the line, but for now, I don't think it's going to happen. And I definitely... There could be a leapfrog, not from the rung below, that's for sure, but maybe one in the rung above it. Anyways, that brings me to my race, myself, Harasmi, Anorak. And by the way, I am fading right now. I'm so tired, but I'm gonna keep going because this is still fun. Yeah, sorry if this quality is absolutely horrible or if I just look terrible on camera because I am so tired. But anyways, a bit note about myself because I can give you guys some actual inside info about myself. I'm gonna be starting playing on Sunday. This race is likely gonna happen over the weekend, so I'll have about 5-6 days to prep. Maybe even 7. Let's just say 5-6 days to prep and derust. I got a lot of new skips that aren't in my PB that are going to be used. Even though I was using them in BTR, I didn't PB at BTR, so I still have like 12 button skip, trash skip, and what's the other one? Boom skip. Plus obviously fry skip and God fraud. Which, by the way, I don't think I'm going to go for that in this match, but that is not a for sure guarantee because I'm going to try to learn it, and if I just have a better time learning it than I think, I might go for it. That brings us to Harasmi and Anorak as well. So Harasmi, as far as I'm aware, he hasn't been playing too much. Did a couple no resets. They weren't anything enthusiastic, but not anything outside the norm of what you would expect. So I think he has a good chance. I mean, obviously Harasmi is a very skilled runner, and I think he'll do well, but I don't know. I don't know. He was a little weird in the race settings last year, where sometimes he had a couple of bad times, and I'm not entirely sure. Now he's got a much better PB, so this could be a different story. Because this is the kind of rung 2 is kind of the rung where I could take anyone, as well as Andorak, who has been playing and grinding. Has the 224, has a good time. I think for him to win this race, he's going to have to get something really close to PB. However, that's definitely possible. The chances of me PBing in this race is near zero. The chances of Razmi PBing is probably near zero. But Anorak, if he's around his PB, could PB, and that might be what he needs to move on here. If I had to go for my prediction, I'm going to say myself just because I want the confidence boost. I'm not going to not pick myself. I feel like to do that, it has to be a pretty obvious situation. And I think the situation is, it could go either way, so I'm going to pick myself. And I don't think second place will get leapfrogged either. I think one of the three might put up a bad time here. I don't know who. Maybe it's me. But I think two people put up pretty solid times, and there's no leapfrogs. So I'm gonna go me, and then I'll go Anorak second because he's been playing a little bit more than Harasmi, I guess. But that could definitely be flipped in my mind. The whole match could be flipped around. Anyways, last match to talk about is Jared, Frostbite, and Justin. The Rung 1 match, the first qualifier opportunity. And I'd like to start off by saying I already filled out the form and I picked Jared. However, I kind of regret my decision just because knowing Jared's race history isn't the best. Excuse me. His race history isn't the best. And Frost really impressed last year, and Justin is always solid for a good no reset. However, I'm gonna stick to my guns and say Jared wins. I think maybe he breaks the curse of that. Well, not he breaks the Jared is bad at racing thing that maybe some people are thinking about in this situation. I think he silences those haters, which he doesn't have any haters, but let's call him that for now. I think it's tough to pick second here because I think Justin, by the time this race happens, is going to be really in training and Frostbite not be as much. I'm going to go Justin second. I can also see Justin winning this race. I mean, I could see any one of these three winning these races, but I think Justin could be really, really prepared come Sunday when this match happens. I'm going to go with Justin second, Frost third. And yeah, that wraps up the I forgot, I guess I didn't really talk too much. I guess Frost about the player profiles there. I guess just Frost I have to talk about. He hasn't played in a minute, at least that what I can see. So it would be interesting to see how he, immediately turns out from de-rusting, I'll say. We'll see. It might not even really be a de-rust for him. And let me quickly go through. Oh, there's all the statistics for it. I see. Okay, let me just give it to you verbally. Who I think is going to be each top 8 seed. I think the first seed will go to Jared because I think he's going to win the race. Justin gets second place and then wins week 2 for the 2 seed. I think I win week 1. I get second week 2 and I win week 3 and I get the 3 seed. Ooh, actually no. I think Frost gets the 3 seed, sorry. Frost loses week 1, wins week 2, wins week 3, gets the 3 seed. I think I go first, second on week 1, 2, 3. And then I think week 4 I finally break through and qualify myself. Pretty chalky so far picks, I would say off the top of my head. So I'm going Jared, to recap, Jared, Justin, Frost, myself. Week 5, I think this could be a number of different people. But my gut's telling me Flaming Laser gets an early qual this year. my gut's telling me Flaming Laser gets an opportunity to get in the top rung there and takes advantage in a pretty close race between could be him, Dragon, Harazmi, or Anorak. In terms of the sixth seed, I think at this point in the summer, I'm going to be a believer. I'm going to be believer in Harazmi here, and I think Harazmi gets the sixth seed. I think he could definitely finish with a higher seed than that, but oh no, my headset died. I guess you guys are gonna have to bear with me without the lights on my headset. Um, what was I saying? I think Harazmi might take a few weeks to get going, but I think by week 6 he'll be cruising, and I think I just think he's gonna win the match. Uh, and then the 7 seed. This is where it gets really interesting because man, am I tempted to make some crazy plays here. Um, if I had to have a little bit of a wild card pick, not sorry, not the actual wild card, like a upset pick here, I would go 3 people: Flup, Twice Light, or T Fresh. I think are my 3 players I'm eyeing up here to steal the 7 seed in that last week. It's really going to depend on the situations in week 6, because if you get a top rung in week 6 and are guaranteed that week 7 match, it's such a huge advantage. I'm going to go with the 7 seed. I want to say T Fresh so bad, but I just don't trust him enough to keep playing. I want him to prove me wrong so bad, but I don't trust him enough to keep going. Actually, I could physically force him to do it technically, since I will be. Never mind. Uh, I'm gonna go. It's between Flup and Twice Light for me right here. I'm gonna go. Uh, I'm gonna go Flup. I think she has a situation where getting into the rung at the right time situation for rung 6, maybe loses that race in the top rung, but gets that guaranteed 7th rung and gets a shocking win. Uh, and that leaves 2 of our top 8 that have projected with 1 spot left. Um, oh man, I it's so hard to pick because I can't disrespect. Like, Dragon could just be like the 3rd seed or something. Like, I could see that happening. I hate to say it, but that makes Anorak not make top 8. And honestly, I think Anorak is an amazing runner who probably would 99% of the time, if I didn't give an upset with for like Flup, would be making like the top 5 seeds or something. I hate to do it, but I think I'm gonna put Dragon as my wild card and actually leave Anorak out of our final bracket. I hate to do it because I think Anorak's one of the best runners. I just think that's just how it's gonna play out. I don't nothing specific about it except there had to be someone who got changed out of the upset, and I think Harazmi. I think the other people are not as vulnerable to crashing out of the tournament, especially the top 3. I don't think myself or Harazmi will. And I think Laser is just going to have a good tournament personally. And then that leaves Dragon, who's been improving a lot, and Anorak. Oh, sorry, I mentioned Flup as well. That's my pick to get a lot of points, essentially. But I think Flup, she's really good, so. Yeah, I think that is it for this video. I've been ranting. I'm so tired. I bet my eyes, I don't know. I'm looking at them in the camera right now. They're just glassy, probably a little red. I just realized I've been talking for 29 minutes. Holy shit. I look like I'm high. Don't comment, are you high or something. It's because I'm sleep deprived. Holy shit. This is a horrible recording. Oh, I hope I was far enough back that my eyes weren't like this. Oh, I look like I'm stoned or something. I know, this is just, I'm sleep deprived. And my wild card time guess, I'm gonna go with a 223.52 Boom, that's the wild card. Dragon gets it week 6. Wait, no. That would mean that Fluff beats it 220. Maybe or 223 or 2 yeah. He gets it week 4 or 5. Doesn't actually matter. Who cares? All right. Anyways, that's going to end it. I can't wait till next week. I'm going to have more time. I'm not going to be sleep deprived. I'm going to have a guest on next week. Yet to determine who that is. I don't know. I don't even know who I was thinking bringing on. 1 week, I'm going to get definitely a T-Fresh on 1 week because I'll be with him. But other than that, I think it's open. Yeah, that'll be that. More segments slash the guest speakers to come. That's my starting predictions. Yeah, I hope to see you guys next week. Yeah, after all the week 1 matches are done, and I can recap them. All right, bye bye.